Hello, everybody. It's great to see you here as we come to the end of our sessions on Jim McAfee's book, Your Body Sign Language. It's been, I hope, and I think, an interesting time over the last few months. I've enjoyed preparing it. I've learned as I've gone along, so I hope everybody else has learned a few things as well. So I'm just going to share my screen as usual and let rip. Oops. Here we go, and let's go. Okay, so as I've said, we're into the last session of our book, called Your Body Sign Language. And the conclusion. Is it a conclusion? Is it not a conclusion? It's a conclusion of the book, but not the conclusion of our health. I don't know if anybody has ever watched the movie or heard of the wind talkers or the code talkers from World War II, which were the Navajo Indians who were able to speak in their native language to each other via radio, and nobody could crack their code because the Japanese thought it was a special code. Meantime, it was just a native language that they were talking in. So if you want to know more about that, we can go into that at a later stage, but to get an idea. So many older people may be familiar with the wind talkers from World War II. And our body has a universal code talker system of its own, with its own complex signs and symptoms. Any attempt to crack the body's complex biochemical code can be a daunting task. Nature is an amazing thing, and man tries to emulate nature, but he doesn't do nearly as good a task as what our designer God has done. And I hope I have presented a fair and balanced view of important nutritional insights and have brought a measure of preliminary understanding to the average person regarding how to apply these insights to one's life and experience. It is possible to examine how the body tolerates foods, how foods are digested, the strength or weakness of metabolic pathways, and how nutrients actually work in the body. Science has developed to that extent that they can do all of these things. And we can also test toxic exposures in several ways. There are great advances in science and medicine. And remembering that this book was written a few years ago, and these ongoing things are just improving all the time, and we're learning more and more and more on a daily basis. So despite the great abundance or great advances that have been made, health of the general population is deteriorating rapidly. We know diabetes is a problem. We know cardiac issues are a problem. We know obesity is a problem. Yet it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse every year. Why? If everybody is listening and doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, why are we still having this problem? And I think about it a little bit the same way as I think about our virus at the moment. If all of these lockdowns and masks and social distancing, etc., is working, why has this thing just gotten so badly out of proportion and spread around the world so quickly? Could it possibly be our health and nutrition plays a role in this? So one reason for this is that people refuse to take an interest in their health until they've lost it. Because we've gotten used to, I'm not feeling well today, run off to the doctor, asking for some drugs, and voila, we feel better tomorrow. But that's not how it works. And our disease-orientated medical system encourages this approach, because you go to the doctor, he listens to your story, and he says, here, have a tablet, have a pill. If it doesn't work, or should we say when it doesn't work, come back and see me in 2 weeks, give me some more money, and we'll try another pill. And so it goes. So one of the purposes of this book has been to create an interest and awareness of the need to improve health prior to the development of problems. In my opinion, it is significantly easier, less painful, and cheaper to prevent a problem than it is to fix a problem. The choice of body signs is simply a tool to open the eyes to biomarkers that may result from neglect of proper nutrition. Biomarkers being those biological signs that there's a problem. Now, millions of people see no connection between basic dietary or lifestyle habits and the development of conditions like obesity or chronic pain. One would think it is so obvious, but people ignore these little signs, whether it's by choice, whether it's by naivety, whether it's by sort of the ostrich syndrome. If I don't understand it, I don't know it, it's not going to hurt me, I don't know. So hopefully this book will result in a clearer understanding that there may indeed be a connection. Now, nutrients work together, as we've seen throughout the book. You cannot have one thing working on its own without something else. And I found this little diagram quite interesting. It's readily available on the web, and I think we are all familiar with this because this is the chain of life. We need carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, not simple ones. We need lipids and sterols, the good fats, not the bad ones. We need protein, the good complete protein, not the synthetic stuff. We need minerals in a form that our body can actually absorb. We need vitamins and related food factors. We need enzymes. We don't need junk food and drugs. And our medical system has taught people to look for a single pill for a single symptom. You go to your doctor, you say, oh, I've got a headache. Have a tablet, come back and see me. Oh, I've got a sore throat. Have a tablet, come back and see me. That's not how it works. Nutrients do not function in this manner. Throughout this book, the author has emphasized that nutrients are linked together in a chain that makes life processes possible. And we are only as strong as the weakest link in that chain. Now, lack of an essential nutrient breaks the chain, impacting the use of other nutrients. Deficiencies of isolated nutrients are rarely found. The poor diets that fail to meet nutritional requirements often result in multiple nutritional gaps. The best means of plugging these gaps is through the use of a wide spectrum of nutrients from sources that are as natural as possible. Remember, our bodies are designed for food, not designed for medication, not designed for synthetic supplements, food. The most important nutrients for any given individual will really be those receiving the most glamorous attention in the media. One often finds this hype. One sees CBD oil at the moment. Then one sees, collagen is another big buzzword at the moment. Oh, we need collagen. It's really good for us. True, but, oh, we need this protein shake. It's got this and that, and it's sponsored by or bragged about by this particular sportsman or whatever. But is it actually doing the job? The most critical nutrients are those that are essential and are inadequately supplied in the diet. Incomplete nutrition makes us susceptible to infection by bacteria and viruses. It also sets the stage for the development of degenerative diseases. And I saw a classic example of this just recently in hospital with a patient who had had surgery on their back and didn't go that well, had to come back again. And I know that this patient is on a whole packet full of drugs and medication because it's antibiotics and it's anti-pain and it's anti-this and it's anti-that. And this patient, I can see how their system has just sort of imploded. And it saddens me because I know I've got the tools to help them. But ethically, from a business perspective, professionally, I'm not allowed to actually say anything. That I've got to work through the dietitians, but they are not always as clued up as we would think that they should be, unfortunately. And I'm just watching their system crumble because there's signs of, I can see it in their face, I can see it in the skin, I can see it in their body where there's infections developing. And it's just, it's a whole big castle that's, or deck of cards, or castle of cards that's falling in on itself. No one would think of building a wall with holes in it. Yet human beings routinely provide the body with an inadequate and incomplete supply of nutrients. Imagine building your house and having the doorway, but there's no door and there's no security gate. Now we want to protect our house against invaders. It's not going to happen because there are weak spots and open spots for invaders to get in. And our body works along a very similar pattern. We are all familiar with this little triangle as well, or the pyramid, the food pyramid. Now you talk to people like Professor Tim Noakes, and he will say, we don't deal with food pyramids. And this is in fact true. We don't really deal with food pyramids anymore. However, it is a good idea to give a basis of what is needed and what's not needed in the system. So in place of a complete supply of essential nutrients, people often purchase and utilize a wide spectrum of herbs, isolated nutrients, or the latest miracle substance being advertised by media hypers. Herbs have their place, as has been indicated throughout the book, but nutrients must have a priority. Cells die without essential nutrients, while such is not the case with herbs. Now, herbs can be used as flavorants, but herbs can also be used as medication. And historically, most of today's medication has its origins in herbs. Isolated nutrients will never produce the benefits of the complete spectrum of essential nutrients. And by that, we're talking about, you're not just going to get a single alpha tocopherol vitamin E. You're going to get the alpha, beta, gamma, delta tocopherol and the tocotrienols. That's how it is found in nature. We don't just find a single E. We don't find a single B. We find them all in a complex. Miracle substances, even the most researched, will really produce the long-term health improvement associated with regular use of a well-rounded intake of essential nutrients. Don't focus on the use of one vitamin or herb to the neglect of all essential nutrients. So when people talk about, I'm taking vitamin C and I'm taking zinc, yes, they're good, but you're missing a whole lot of other things. And as I know John likes to say, if you go into the local supermarket, you're not going to take every single thing off the shelf and walk out with it. You're going to take what you need. Now, think of that in our body. You're not going to just give it one item. Give it a multivitamin with minerals and fats, etc. Let your body do its own shopping. Don't guess what nature needs. Nature knows better. Many people eagerly seek out medications, but are reticent to add essential nutrients to the diet. And this is sadly amusing. Medications do not build healthy cells. Now, I've had this same conversation with some relatives where they've had issues and I've made suggestions, and I was told, we don't want to take any more tablets because we've been to the doctor and they've prescribed this whole smorgasbord of drugs. We don't want to take any more tablets. And I can't seem to get the message across that these are tablets, but they're food that's going to assist the body, not treat a symptom. It's an ongoing fight. We'll get there one day. Another picture that most of us should be familiar with the unhealthy cell and the healthy cell. We have structural nutrients. Many leading, sorry, things get caught in the way over here. Many leading researchers have concluded that the underlying nutrient problem today is an inadequate supply of quality oils, including omega-3 fats, phospholipids, and phytosterols. These quality fats have been largely stripped from foods because they spoil rapidly. Again, comes down to marketing. Sadly, money is the bottom problem of everything. In their place have been substituted oxidized or rancid fats, which rapidly deplete the body's antioxidant reserves and interfere with normal cellular and glandular functioning. Restoring these essential oils is central to re-establishing proper nutrient utilization. Remembering that those oils are working on your cells. So quality oils are the primary building blocks of much of the body. Think of your car operating without any oil. You've put in the water, you've put in the petrol, but you put in your brake fluid and all the rest, but you haven't put in oil. How far do you suppose you're going to get before your car seizes on you or your engine seizes? It's got the fuel, it's got the water, it's got the brake fluid, it's got the battery, it's got everything, but it doesn't have the quality oil. Think about your body in the same way. All cells of the body have lipid membranes. Very high quality oils are the primary building blocks of brain and nerve cells. No nutritional approach that neglects the quality of the fats in the diet has established the proper nutritional priorities. And as I often say, think of having a shower. Now, you climb in the shower, but you put a raincoat on. How well do you suppose your body is going to get washed? That is how our cells work. If you are putting junk foods in your diet, you're not having the correct fats and oils, you're not having any of the correct nutrients, that is essentially you climbing into the shower with a raincoat on. You might get a little bit wet, but you're not going to get what you need. Now take the raincoat off, climb in the shower, and have a good old-fashioned clean down with your Nutrions shower gel. But see how much better you'll feel. You cleaner, you can feel better, you can feel the water on your body. And this is exactly what happens when we give our cells the nutrients or the oils that it needs. It can get clean, it can use what it can receive the optimal nutrients that it needs, process them, and then get rid of the waste products. Now, not all problems are nutritional. We've seen this as we've gone along through this book as well. Not all health problems have their origin in inadequate nutritional intake. A sizable portion of the book has been dedicated to toxicological issues. We're exposed to all sorts of stuff: lead in the air, toxins in the water, cell phones, internet all the way around us, ultraviolet lights, screens from laptops and cell phone screens, etc., all toxicological. Nutrition is an essential component of enabling the body to cope with the toxic exposures. We're not really going to find a way to escape all the toxins in the universe today, unfortunately. But if we give our bodies the correct tools, it will fight them and protect us. The most profound means of coping with toxins is to avoid them. Simple to do, or simple to say, not easy to do. The modern industrialized world is filled with potentially dangerous substances capable of creating harm even when they appear not to. We won't get into the current trend at the moment. In the book, toxins such as fluoride, mercury, pesticides, and estrogenic pollutants are often spoken about. Hopefully, society will one day reach the point where the youngest and most vulnerable, as well as the rest of us, are protected from the most dangerous pollutants. Learn to identify toxic substances and take steps to assure that your family and friends avoid them. And we can start in our own homes with our cleaning products. We know that we have got the best cleaning products in the world that were green decades before green was a thing. But we need to educate our friends and family who haven't heard about these things that there are alternatives. Look out for the simple toxins all around in your home. And that is where the problems start. Now, are we proactive or reactive? You can choose to subsidize your illness or invest in your wellness. There are two approaches to health-related issues. One is treating our health as a precious commodity and do everything possible to preserve it or improve it. The alternative is to wait until health problems develop and then attempt to repair the problem. Once again, you buy a brand new car, you take it out on the road and you drive it. Then you drive it, and you drive it, and you drive it. You never bother changing the oil, you never have it serviced. And then all of a sudden, it comes to a grinding halt on the side of the road. And you go, but what happened? I had the most expensive, fanciest vehicle in the world, and now it's a pile of metal sitting on the side of the road, doesn't go anywhere. If you had serviced it, washed it, looked after it, that car could take you 1,000,000 miles. If not, it's not going to take you very far at all. It is tragic to generations of people throwing away the most meaningful asset in life and not having the slightest idea of why good health spreads its wings and flies from them. You cannot live on a diet of junk food. It is going to catch up to you at some stage. And sadly, a lot of young people say, I'm young, I'm fit, I'm healthy, let me enjoy my life. I don't need that stuff. When they hit their late 20s, 30s, 40s, and suddenly they in the doctor's rooms every week because they've got this ache and they've got that ache and they're needing joint replacements and they're needing pacemakers and they're needing heaven knows what. That is when they start saying, wow, I should have listened when I was younger. It only takes a few simple and easy steps to build vital health. Yet most of us settle for mediocre or worse disease care, not health care, disease care. Do we wish to plug the small hole now or clean the town after the dam bursts? A wise physician once encouraged a successful businessman to build a company selling nutritional products. He was heard saying, make these supplements available and you will be doing something 16 times more important than we doctors do, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And that, people, is where Neolife started. That little experiment and that little comment from a physician to an ordinary person in the street who just happened to be one of the guinea pigs in the trial. And that was where we stemmed from, where our businesses today stem from, was that simple research. Health brings a freedom very few realize until they no longer have it. And I see this daily at work because I am in the medical field and I see people when they are sick, when they are damaged, when they are old and decrepit, for want of any better term, and sadly enough, quite often not old and decrepit, and they think they're old when they're in the early 40s, and they're saying, oh, I wish I had your energy, I wish I had your health, I wish, I wish, I wish. And it's too late then. It's a little bit like Noah. Noah built the ark. Noah spoke to everybody saying, people, make your life right. We need to get into the ark to save your life. And only when the rain started falling did the people suddenly go, oh, hang on, please can we join you in the ark? That time it was too late. The primary goal of this book, the book that this series derived from, parallels this physician's remark. By recognizing problems at an early stage and preventing them through improved nutrition, we are taking decisive measures to safeguard ourselves, not only from pain, suffering, and palliative medicine, but also from extraordinary expenses. Sick care is horribly expensive. Ask me, I know. We can choose to be old at 40 or 80. We can choose to live in the regret of if I had only, or the satisfaction of knowing my priorities were correct. We all realize that we must make wise choices, but willpower and discipline do not come easily for most of us. Jim's sincere desire from his guidebook is that it is a beacon of light that excites and inspires you to take action to fortify your physical well-being for an extended and satisfying life. As Dr. Barry Bland likes to say, everybody in this world is going to die. Life is 100% mortal. And as he always likes to say, he says, I know I'm going to die one day, but I want to die healthy. I don't want to die lying in a hospital bed, in pain, in suffering. It's not a fun place to be. So may the potential you were born with be fully materialized, and may you enjoy the best health each and every day. And it is with grateful thanks to this invaluable book, Your Body's Sign Language, written by Jim McAfee. Please purchase this book either through Amazon or through his website. There are also invaluable resources available on Jim's website, including newsletters, research articles, and recordings. Please go along and use them. And thank you for joining me on this adventure. And that is our series over. Thanks, everybody. You're welcome to unmute. And if anybody's got any comments, let's take it away.
It was excellent, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you for sharing this with us.
It has been my pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop recording now.